Billionaires aren't just buying cars anymore, they're collecting chaos. From Lil Uzi Vert's anime-wrapped hyperspeed fantasy machines to Shaq's comically oversized vehicles that look like they personally fear the man, every ride on this list is absolutely outrageous. These aren't cars, they're personality reveals, mechanical confessions, rich people Pokemon. So let's rank the most ridiculous over-the-top billionaire vehicles ever created. Okay, so Lil Uzi Vert owns cars the same way a 5-year-old kid designs characters in a coloring book. Absolute freedom, zero rules, and maximum chaos. His entire garage looks like somebody asked, yo, what if Hot Wheels were sentient and had access to a billionaire's bank account? And Uzi said, shit, bet. The man buys a perfectly normal, expensive luxury car and immediately transforms it into something that looks like it escaped from an anime con. His $2 million Bugatti, wrapped in bright anime decals, so intense that people who drive next to him probably level up spiritually. The headlights, the hood, the doors, nothing is safe from becoming a manga panel. Even the interior feels like it's whispering theme songs when you drive. And yeah, Uzi once wrapped an entire Audi R8 in pink anime warriors, making it look like the world's first supercar designed by Cartoon Network. The wrap was so bold, the traffic lights seemed dim next to it. You can spot that thing from orbit, man. But the real highlight is Lil Uzi's all-white Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Now the customization is obvious, but the rims steal the show. They're massive, custom-built, and instantly make the car stand out from any stock Rolls-Royce Cullinan on the entire roadway. Yo, if Willy Wonka made luxury vehicles, this would probably be the prototype. There's no theme, no consistency, no logic, just pure unfiltered self-expression. Every one of his cars feels like it should come with, I don't know, like epilepsy warnings and a legal note saying, please consult your optometrist before staring directly at this vehicle. Uzi's garage ain't just a collection, it's a museum of, why not? And honestly, that's why it's beautiful. Eddie's cars aren't meant to blend in, they're meant to announce his existence 5 minutes before he arrives. This is chaotic billionaire energy at its finest. It's crazy, not something I would drive personally. I think C-tier suits it pretty good though. Now Uzi fleet, it looks like it was built by a graphic designer having a sugar rush or a strunk. So let's move on to somebody who forces every vehicle to file for workers' compensation. I'm talking about Shaq. This man doesn't just own his own vehicles and fighting video game, he forces his rides into a completely new evolutionary stage, like Pokemon. Every car this man touches immediately realizes that it was not built for somebody who is 7'1", 325 pounds, and shaped like a brick wall wearing a smile. Normal cars see Shaq walking toward them and they start praying for structural reinforcement. Just take this Ferrari 355, right? Which he loves so much that he physically removed the roof because his head refused to negotiate. Same thing with his Dodge Challenger, which had to be stretched like pizza dough just to survive him getting inside of it. His Mercedes S550 didn't even try, it just accepted that it would live the rest of its life as a convertible, whether it wanted to or not. Shaq doesn't buy cars, he literally stretches them beyond their own limitations. Every mechanic who's ever worked on his fleet probably needed an emotional support animal afterward. Like his Lamborghini Gallardo had to be extended so dramatically that it basically became a limousine cosplaying as a supercar. Yo, then there's his Vanderhall Venice Roadster, which looks like a 3-wheel bathtub and somehow fits him better than a $300,000 Italian machine. But yo, the crown jewel, it's not even exotic at all, it's his smart car. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal, the largest man in every room ever, owns a vehicle the size of a watermelon with headlights. Watching him climb out of that thing is like watching a dragon hatch from an egg. Honestly, that car looks a little proud and terrified at the same time. And yet, the wildest part is that Shaq genuinely loves these machines. Every modification is done because he refuses to let physics stop him from enjoying life. His garage is where dreams go when they aren't built to scale. And look, his collection, it ain't just unique, it's a masterclass in bending reality to your will. As a fleet, it's incredibly fun, but also physically painful to look at. For sheer creativity, because I love Space Jam, and because of intimidation by size alone, I'm gonna give Shaq an A tier. Alright, now after surviving Shaq's XXL garage, where every car looks like it's fighting for his life, let's take a sharp turn to someone who drives the exact opposite. George Clooney and his electric toothpick. Okay, so George here owns a $120,000 electric car called the Tango T600, and the word car is being used very generously here. Because this thing looks less like transportation and more like something you unlock in Mario Kart after beating the game on nightmare difficulty. This thing is tall, it's skinny, and it's shaped like the offspring of a vending machine and a motorcycle. Come on, man, if a Prius and a phone booth had a baby, this would be it. Honestly, when you see Clooney standing next to it, the Tango looks even funnier, because it's shorter than his patience when paparazzi ask him about Batman. And this vehicle is barely wider than the man's smile. Like, you don't sit inside the Tango, you wear this thing like a suit. It's basically an electroskeleton that happens to have turn signals and wheels. But here's the twist. This weird little toothpick missile is actually fast. 2 electric motors launch it from 0 to 60 faster than cars twice its price, which is terrifying when you remember the whole vehicle weighs roughly the same as a stubborn shopping cart. Now, the low center of gravity keeps it from tipping over, but visually it still looks like it's one stiff breeze away from becoming, I don't know, street origami or wall art. Now, inside, this thing is even more unbelievable. The cabin is basically a vertical coffin with pedals. The seat's narrow, the windows are narrow, and the cup holder looks like it was added as an afterthought by somebody who's never even seen a beverage. But the Tango was designed for one purpose: slipping through traffic like a phone notification. Clooney can lane split legally, park in places where bikes park, and fit between SUVs like he's glitching through reality. And the funniest part is that George Clooney, one of the most universally handsome men alive in the world, voluntarily drives something that makes him look like he's commuting inside of a Wi-Fi router. The man could pull up in anything, yet he pulls up in a futuristic breadstick. I guess it's iconic and it's practical. It's a little absurd, but honestly, I'm gonna give it a solid B tier just for practicality. Clooney slips through traffic like a YouTube ad that you can't skip. But Deadmau5? Now he pulls up in a vehicle that causes actual legal letters. Okay, Deadmau5 doesn't just own cars, he owns rolling internet jokes that somehow cost more than most people's mortgages. Alright, I'm gonna say props, because his most iconic machine is of course the Ferrari, a Ferrari 458 wrapped in full Nyan Cat livery. This thing was colorful, it was loud, it was ridiculous, and somehow still not the weirdest thing this man has ever driven. And y'all can bet that Ferrari hated it with every single fiber of their corporate soul. They sent him a cease and desist letter so aggressively polite it felt like being stabbed with a silk napkin. And you know you done something amazing when the world's most luxurious car brand says, just please stop. Whatever the hell this is, make it stop. But Deadmau5, he didn't slow down. He immediately bought a Lamborghini Huracan and transformed it into the Nyanburghini. Bright colors everywhere, decals that look like a teenager designed it during a sugar rush. This car is the automotive equivalent of like anime yelling and screaming. Inside his garage, every vehicle has a personality crisis. Yo, there's a McLaren that looks aerodynamic and serious, but sits next to a customized Jeep that looks like it was built by somebody who said, what if off-roading, but chaos? The man collects cars the way some people collect inside jokes. Now, what makes Deadmau5 so legendary isn't just the money that he pours into these machines, it's the confidence. He drives these things publicly, proudly, and with the type of joy only a man who owns a giant mouse helmet can understand. Now, here's the cool thing. These vehicles, they're not flexes. They're statements that scream uniqueness. His garage is a carnival, a meme museum, and a midlife crisis all wrapped up in one. Alright, so this chaotic automotive playground is gonna land comfortably in S tier because the originality is unmatched even if Ferrari lawyers still got nightmares and cold sweats. So Deadmau5 wraps cars in memes, but our next one up takes it up a notch. He rebuilds entire vehicles like he's modding reality with cheat codes. will.i.am looked at a normal car, shrugged, and decided that it didn't have enough existential confusion and crisis. This man bought a perfectly innocent 1958 Volkswagen Beetle and sent it to West Coast Customs with instructions that must have read like a fever dream written in crayon. 4 years and $900,000 later, he received a vehicle that looks like a concept drawn for a superhero movie that never got greenlit because it was too absurd. This car doesn't just turn heads, it makes people question reality. So the silhouette is Beetle-ish, but the proportions feel like somebody accidentally hit mirror and stretch in Photoshop at the same time. The body lines don't follow traditional rules. They follow vibes, and pretty unique ones at that. The headlights seem pretty unsure if they belong to a Beetle, a spaceship, or a luxury coupe. Now the rear looks like it's trying to audition for Blade Runner. It's glorious, it's confusing, and somehow, I don't know, educational, because Will claims the whole build was meant to inspire kids to study science. Nothing motivates a kid more than showing them a nearly $1 million car that looks like it was assembled by a committee of inventors who didn't even speak the same language. And that's just one of his creations. His garage is full of cars that started life as normal vehicles and then became whatever this is. He's got custom DeLoreans, futuristic concept builds, and machines that look like rejected Transformers. Like, every car looks like it came with features that scientists haven't even discovered yet. You get the sense that if you press the wrong button, this car might time travel or, I don't know, explode into confetti. Most rich people buy status symbols, while will.i.am buys blank canvases and turns them into automotive TED Talks. His vehicles aren't pretty in the traditional sense, but they're unforgettable. The kind of machines you stare at for 5 minutes because your brain is updating its software. This rolling sci-fi portfolio gets a strong A tier, because even though half the cars look like they were designed during REM sleep, and the creativity is still elite. And after witnessing will.i.am reshape a Beetle into a philosophical question, next up, Tyler the Creator, a man whose taste in cars is exactly like his music career, expensive and makes you question life choices. This guy's got a garage that feels like a coming-of-age arc written in car form. But this is where Tyler becomes Tyler. His taste in weird cars is immaculate. The guy owns a Lancia Delta Integrate Evo 1 and Evo 2, two boxy, angry rally monsters that look like they're permanently scowling. These cars was not designed to be pretty, they were designed to bully mountains. He also owns an LS-swapped E30 M3, a Fiat 131, and a garage full of European race machines that sound like they all yell at you in Italian every time you walk in the room. Walking into his garage feels like walking into a history museum curated by a man who refuses to sit still. Every car is loud, not volume-wise, but personality-wise. The Lancias look ready to overthrow a small government. The M3 looks like it uses caffeine or rocket fuel instead of regular gas. Even his LaFerrari, one of the rarest hypercars on Earth, somehow matches this dude's chaotic energy. But I will say what makes him a little bit special is his passion. He doesn't buy these cars to flex, he buys them because he loves them. He studies them, he drives them, crashes them, buys another one, learns nothing, he just keeps on going. His collection's got heart, it's got a little bit of identity. It's got the confidence of a man who decorates his $1 million vehicles with the same enthusiasm that he uses to decorate an album cover. His garage is what happens when pure creativity meets silly amounts of money. It's chaotic, it's artistic, it's historically rich, and it's completely unpredictable. Now this lineup lands in S tier because nobody else mixes taste quite like he does it. It's purely unique and immaculate. So which of these unique rides would you drive daily? Drop your pics in the comments, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.